Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back for a Tuesday edition of the Steel City Sports Report, where we talk everything Steelers, Penguins, and Pirates. I am your host, Brady Vini. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Back here on this Tuesday before we take tomorrow off here on the channel, but there is a ton to talk about. Originally, was just going to come on here and do our normal, Tuesday routine, recap what Mike Tomlin said in his press conference this afternoon, get into some other stuff featuring the Penguins and Pirates and all that. But then, boom, breaking news dropped on us within the past hour. We are going to get into that breaking news story here in a matter of moments. But before we do that, if you are new here, welcome to the channel. Would appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications so that you never miss a thing here on the channel, whether it is a live stream or a video. Again, also leave a like, share this live stream, and in the comment section, any thoughts, questions, or opinions that you may have, get those in there. I enjoy interacting with you fine folks and popping those up on the screen, interacting that way like normal. Was on stream for over 2 hours last night, answering all those questions. I appreciate it. All of you who are in here right now and who come in here, please keep those questions coming. Love doing that. Also, if you want, go give the channel a follow at Steel City SR on Facebook, Instagram, and X, and tune in later tonight for a new edition of SCSR 60. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to waste no more time and get into this big breaking news story for your Pittsburgh Steelers, and it is a signing alert. I believe it was Jeremy Fowler of ESPN who had this story first. The Pittsburgh Steelers, we were wondering if they were going to have a chance to do this. Turns out they did it. Asante Samuel Jr., the former corner for the LA Chargers, was said by Fowler to be a top 25 free agent back in March. He is now signing with the Pittsburgh Steelers on the practice squad, which, baby steps here, but he is a Pittsburgh Steeler. Samuel, if you do not know who he is, fantastic young corner, I believe still only 26 years old, was thought to be a highly coveted defensive back in this past offseason's free agency class. Turns out he has a back injury, gets spinal fusion surgery, back before the season and camps met along. He has since been cleared. I believe it was last week he was cleared. That spinal fusion surgery done by doctors in Pittsburgh. I believe it is the actual Steelers team doctor that did Samuel's surgery. So that is good to know that, we're not flying blind here in terms of his health. We know all about this. And Samuel, once he got cleared, lots of teams coveting his services. I believe, trying to remember back to what the schedule was for him, I want to say it was Monday night or Tuesday night last week that Samuel got cleared. And last week, 3 meetings. This week was scheduled to have 3 meetings as well. He met with the Panthers, the Packers, and Vikings to end last week, took the weekend off, met with the 49ers yesterday, was scheduled to meet with the Chicago Bears today, the Bears coming up on the Steelers schedule, and he was scheduled to visit with the Steelers tomorrow. As a matter of fact, we were just going to weigh things out on there. We were going to tease it today at the end of the show saying, hey, next time we talk, maybe we'll have a bit of an answer on what is going on here with Asante Samuel, where he might be signing. Turns out we don't need to wait till Thursday. Asante Samuel Jr., he will be in the black and gold. Doctors David Okonkwo and Nick Theodore, they were the doctors that did his surgery, or at least the doctors that cleared him there. That was obviously, read you off his schedule there, a long list of teams ahead of the Steelers, meeting with him, trying to acquire his services, or at least looking into his health. I thought it was going to be a long shot that he even made it to the Steelers. Rarely does a player that, covets the attention of that many teams, that gets the attention of that many teams, rarely does he walk into each and every single building and then walk out without a contract. Well, good news, did walk out of each and every one of those, and now Asante Samuel Jr., he will be putting on the black and gold, maybe even as soon as this weekend against the Cincinnati Bengals. For being honest here, I highly doubt it. Dude had no training camp, no nothing. He is, I'm sure, been working out with that back, training it, but you got to get him back into game shape, not just into practice shape there. So Asante Samuel, like I said, 26-year-old corner now with the Steelers. They get a boost to their secondary in his 2023 season, the last season that he was fully healthy for Asante Samuel here. 2 interceptions, 13 pass defenses, allowed 55 receptions on 85 targets, allowing just a 60.3 completion percentage. That pretty good there. I believe in his career, 6 interceptions and somewhere hovering around the 35 to 37 pass defense range there for Asante Samuel. But now he comes to the black and gold, gives a boost to their secondary, like I mentioned. Now you got him there in that room with Brandon Echols, Joey Porter Jr., you got Darius Slay as well. James Pierre, he's risen up in recent games. So this corner room, the depth of it now being bolstered once again. And that's without, still waiting for Corey Trice to come back from injury here. So I believe also ASJ, as we'll call him here, ASJ and JPJ, we now got. I believe he does have that outside, inside capability, so he can slide into the slot there. So, Porter and I believe Darius Slay, those are your pure outside guys. And Slay, we don't know how long he's going to be out. He's in concussion protocol right now, but at least now you got depth and you got versatility at the corner position. Samuel and Echols, they can bounce inside and outside between nickel and outside corner. And then the safety room too. You got Jalen Ramsey back there now full time. I think he's settling in there really nice. Kyle Duggar, he's been a nice pickup, and Chuck Clark or whoever can rotate in with those guys. So the secondary getting some much needed still reinforcements here today. I know they've had a rough start to the season. They have come along a little bit in the past couple of weeks. I honestly, looking back at last night or the game 2 nights ago, Sunday night, even though they did give up 25 points, still, I think it was, for the most part, at least in the first half, a strong night for the Steelers secondary. And now they're only going to get stronger here with Asante Samuel. Yes, just starting out with the practice squad, but hey, welcome to Pittsburgh. You are very welcomed here. Fans have been waiting for this move. He was even being linked to the Steelers back in the offseason before he had that spinal fusion surgery. But now he's coming to Pittsburgh after all. And that, I guess you can say for Steelers fans, takes a little bit of the heat off of general manager Omar Khan not doing all that much at the trade deadline, though. It would be really nice if Asante Samuel could be a half-decent wide receiver right now. And last thing here, the roster move that the Steelers made to bring in Asante Samuel Jr., Darrick Forrest, safety, former Washington Commander. He on the practice squad for a week or two now. He gets released. So there it is right there. The breaking news within the past 2 hours now, Asante Samuel signing with the black and gold. He now finally coming to Pittsburgh. And to the comment section, we go now. 5 of you in here right now. I'm sure that number is going to go up as we chit chat about the Steelers and the other 2 professional Pittsburgh sports teams tonight. Please keep your comments and reactions to this story of Samuel signing with the Steelers coming in. Mr. Steeler fan in the comment section right now. Welcome, Mr. Steeler fan. If he can play at a high level, this was a huge deal. Is it too late? Yeah, that's another thing too. I have been seeing that sort of reaction on social media throughout the past hour or so. This was a move that lots of people wanted, but it goes to, the whole thing. Is it too late? Is this just another chair being put on the tech on the deck of the Titanic ship that is the Steelers season right now, because things are looking real bleak right now. Losers of 3 of their last 4 games. And it's just also, I think, where fans get a little fatigued with this a little bit. No doubt fans are excited about adding Asante Samuel Jr., but I think where they get a little bit fatigued, like, all right, another good guy for the defense. It's the question of, when is this like type of move going to be brought in for the offense? When are we going to have ever really a mid-season ad that you can look and say, there we go, a legit ad, a guy with some upside that's, not in his on the other side of 30 here, that, could, even though he's here right now for a short time, possibly give us the hope that he could be a long-term answer. That's what Asante Samuel Jr. Provides. I think fans, they would like to see at least bare minimum a move like this for the offense, but it just has not happened. Could it be too late? Time will tell. Though I do like that the corner position, the secondary, seems to be more solidified than what it was just a couple of weeks ago. I mean, hell, you want to go back 3 weeks time now? You just got cooked by the Bengals and the Packers, and your starting safety room all of a sudden is Chuck Clark and Juan Thornhill. Well, now you add Kyle Duggar and Asante Samuel. Move Jalen Ramsey back to safety. All of a sudden, Juan Thornhill, he's nowhere to be found, and got released yesterday. And Chuck Clark, he's been buried on the depth chart, and Samuel kind of slots in there for Darius Slay, which he has been no spring chicken so far this season for the Steelers. Mr. Steeler fan again here. 2 second-generation talents on this team now at the cornerback position. Yeah, we have had a decent bit of second-generation talents on this team. You want to go to the Hayward brothers, Cam and Connor. They second-generation players. Joey Porter Jr., of course. Trying to think of more on the top of my head right now, but I'm drawing a blank if there is more. But yeah, Asante Samuel Jr., that's also another thing that gets people, hyped up. It's that, that this type of player, Asante Samuel, he is coming from a childhood where he grew up in an NFL environment. I'm sure he was in plenty of locker rooms with his dad back in the day. He sees what daily life is like for these athletes, and I'm sure that's pretty much become just nature for him, just a regular day thing for him, going in, doing your job, going out there on the field and performing. So that's another positive outlook on this, is that you're not going to be getting a guy in ASJ, at least to begin with, a guy that you don't need to question his work ethic or his commitment to getting back out there on the field and performing at the highest level. Got some more comments rolling in here. Mr. Steeler fan, Steel Pen Dex, THP, he is in here as well. 10 of you in here. Told you guys the viewership was going to start spiking here, talking about the Steelers adding Asante Samuel Jr. That news coming about an hour and a half ago, roughly now. Was, thinking about maybe going live for immediate reactions, but figured we were this close to the live stream for tonight. Might as well wait it out a little bit. Steel Pen, Dex and Docs right here. Do you consider a mistake that we cut or traded, should I say, Minkah Fitzpatrick? I mean, now that we can put Jalen Ramsey back at safety, and get a clear comparison between Minkah playing safety and Ramsey playing safety, I think Minkah, he lost a step also. For the many defensive miscommunications and broken coverages that you saw last year with this defense, I'm sure Minkah trying to play a little bit of hero ball was a part of that. But Jalen Ramsey, so far 2 full games back there at safety, -1, catch and run from Ladd McConkey on Sunday night. There hasn't been any real explosive deep shot downfield plays against the Steelers. So is it a mistake cutting or trading Minkah Fitzpatrick in the perspective of, letting Minka go, getting back Jalen Ramsey? I'm going to say no, but if you want to, go a little bit deeper and say, all right, secondary did struggle to begin the season. At one point, safety was a real big question without Deshaun Elliott for most of the year. Then I'm sure, at that point we were missing Minka Fitzpatrick a little bit. Mr. Steeler fan here, his wife has a clothing line. Oh, you're talking about the Mike Tomlin thoughts going to the Giants. I did see that on, I believe it was Get Up this morning. We are going to talk about that a little bit later on in the live stream here tonight. They talked about, could Mike Tomlin be a fit for the Giants job? The only reason I don't mean to be, totally dismissive of your comment or question here, Mr. Steeler fan. And I understand Tomlin's wife has, fashion lines and all that. But one thing where you kind of lose me here is that last sentence right there. I think Rooney has a successor. Tom will step down on his own after 20 seasons with the team, in my opinion. That's the only way that Tomlin could step down. But I think he just loves ball. And if you're Tomlin, just think about it here for a second. You're Mike Tomlin. You're already getting paid $19 million. Now, I believe I saw something the Giants could throw him like $25 million. I mean, if he wants to go chasing money, that's one thing. But also, you got to think, all right, I'm making 19 here in Pittsburgh, and I got an owner who, for some strange reason, has a fascination with me to where I know I'm never going to get fired. Either I'm going to step down on my own one day, or if the owner retires and passes it on to his son, Danny, then I might get canned. So Tomlin, he's going to be here as long as his heart delights. If $6 million, is gonna, get him, swoon him to go to New York, then hey, that's his decision. But also, I think he'll see that this situation is better than the Giants situation. Not from a on the field perspective, maybe, but from a, the owner loves me, and then if he goes to New York, it's going to be tougher media market and ownership that, has fired head coaches, multiple head coaches within the past 10 years. So I look at it from that perspective there for Tomlin, Mr. Steeler fan. DHP in here, catching up on your comments. I apologize if I do not get to all of them. THP, LOL, guy hasn't won a playoff game in 8 seasons, and he's won it crazy. It's not actually that crazy because for some reason the Chicago Bears offered a first-round pick for him in the offseason, and I believe Art Rooney II hung up the phone immediately. Now, if the Giants came calling for a first-round pick, I doubt they'd trade Tomlin still, but I hope they would at least, pick up the phone and not just, hello, no, put it back down. So, you guys talking about a bunch of that Tomlin stuff right here. To see if there's anything else going on. You guys really took over the comment section talking about Tomlin. I see here THP and Mr. Steeler fan going at it right now. As you guys are doing that, we are now roughly 20 minutes into the live stream here tonight. While you guys keep talking about Tomlin, I'm seeing your many comments right there. Going to switch things up here. That's the breaking news to begin the live stream here tonight. Asante Samuel Jr. signing with the Steelers practice squad. Let's switch up to Tomlin since you guys are talking about him in the comments section and go to his weekly press conference this afternoon. This was going to be the headliner for today's live stream, but Asante Samuel really switched things up on us there. Talking about Mike Tomlin and his press conference today. This was probably one of the most anticipated ones, coming off yet another rough primetime loss. And also Tomlin, he was really snippy, snarky with reporters after the game, short answers, next questions, all that, storming off after the fact. So we really wanted to hear today what the Pittsburgh Steelers head coach had to say. Began his press conference, of course, talking about the most recent game, said that the offense was a big letdown without, really saying it. Said you got to possess the ball in order to score. If you're not doing enough on possession downs, you've got to have splash plays to score, and we didn't have either. They did have, some chances of splash plays, a couple of deep balls thrown DK Metcalf's way that were incomplete. And Aaron Rodgers had a rough night, contributed in both, the inability to make splash plays and not convert on third downs, where we remember the stat 2 for 11 on third downs for the Pittsburgh Steelers. At one point in the game, they were 0 for 9 on third downs. And it wasn't until, I think, the third quarter when they, started their 2-minute offense because they were down that they converted their first third down. So Tomlin not happy with the offense still. If I had to guess, he's going to want to see much better production from the offense going up against this Bengals defense on Sunday for his confidence in that unit to be restored at least a little bit. Tomlin also talked about his defense, said that they got worn down against the Chargers and that they were on the field for too long. I'm sure offense plays into that a good bit. Just more on the game here, talking from Tomlin. He said that the Steelers both had good bones, good, structures and game plans for their own running game and stopping the run of the Chargers. Of course, the offense, their imbalance led to their rushing attack pretty much getting thrown out the window, and also the run defense, because the offense was having such quick drives. The run defense ended up deteriorating as the game went along, which we obviously saw. It was Kamani Vidal in the backfield for the Chargers. Started out the game, was being held to no games, at most 1 to 2 yard gains. And then, when we got to the late stages of the third and fourth quarter, then he started breaking off some bigger chunk yardage runs. The one positive that Tomlin really wanted to point out for the defense, second week in a row that he has pointed this out, said that the Steelers have found good stability at the safety position with Jalen Ramsey and Kyle Duggar back there. Tomlin said they feel like they are limiting big plays, which very, very true. Just said that a moment ago. Only the McConkey play, which was just a 15-yard catch and then another 50-yard scamper, something like that, 40-yard scamper. So I do agree with Tomlin there. And that's it on the Chargers game. On to the injury front today. Tomlin mentioned 5 different names by name. Said that Cole Holcomb will start the week as a limited participant with his illness. Missed 2 games with this illness. I hope it's not too serious and that he will be able to get back out there on the field. Jabril Peppers, same thing. He will start as a limited participant to begin the week. Coming back from a quad injury, he too has missed a pair of games. Isaac Seumalo, after missing Sunday night's game, he is optimistic to return. That pec strain that he's been dealing with, he's probably going to be on every single injury report from now through the end of the season. Will Seumalo, I just hope that he doesn't, tear this thing and make it worse than it already is. He limited it for a couple of games, looked like he was, finally going to be a full go, then re-aggravates it against the Packers, misses most of that game, missed Sunday night. If he goes back out there, I'm just asking, please, let's make sure that he's going to stay out there on the field for at least most of the rest of the season. Scotty Miller, wide receiver, WR5, 4, wherever you want to slot him in on the depth chart. He, I believe, has missed 3 games with a broken finger. He has now been cleared to practice. And Darius Slay, he is the one player right now that we know little about what his participation is going to be like this week in concussion protocol. Got knocked out. I'm not sure if it was the second or third quarter against the Chargers. I want to say it was in the second quarter. Ended up, catching a stray helmet-to-helmet shot from one of his teammates. Got ruled out of that game early on in the third quarter. So Slay, he is the only hardcore questionable, I'd say, on the injury report from Mike Tomlin today. moving into this weekend's game against the Cincinnati Bengals. For a moment, Tomlin said that the Steelers will be preparing for this Bengals defense with much seriousness. Trey Hendrickson already rolled out by Zach Taylor there in Cincinnati, but Tomlin said that the team will practice and prepare like he is going to play, which, they need it, quite honestly, because Steelers offense, they did have their success when they played Cincinnati a couple of weeks ago, but against that defense, they should be putting up, 35 points with ease, because that defense is just horrendous, especially without Trey Hendrickson. So they need to take this game fully serious. They cannot risk getting swept by the Bengals in this season series. Also, in the Q&A question, in the Q&A portion of his press conference today, Tomlin, he was asked about Jamar Chase, what the team is going to do with him, because he just had Jerry Rice, Randy Moss level numbers. I believe, 16 catches, 150 yards at least, and a touchdown against the Steelers. Tomlin said that, the Steelers are going to treat him with much more, focus and make any of the other Bengals eligibles beat him. His exact quote here, talking about the secondary, Jalen Ramsey at safety ahead of this matchup with Chase. I think we're still very much in development. Jalen is not the issue. He's got flexibility. It's about the flexibility of those around him and the talents of those around him. But certainly over the last 2 weeks, man, just his presence consistently at free safety has been a stabilizing force on the back end. I would imagine that's not going to change. So Ramsey sticking at safety. And honestly, Tomlin saying, he's stabilized us back there. I mean, that's not really the issue. More of the issue I have here is with Jamar Chase and how he just beat you with slants and out routes, comebackers towards the sideline galore, and you had no answer for it. So I hope you have a better answer than what Jalen Ramsey and Darius Slay. They even put Joey Porter Jr. on him a little bit, and they had no answers. I wonder if they switch it up, maybe give him a little bit of a younger guy, smaller guy with wheels like Brandon Echols to keep up with him. I know that's not a matchup that anybody really wants to hear and think that it be the best possible matchup for the Steelers. But hey, desperate times call for desperate measures, and there's nothing more desperate than stopping Jamar Chase after what he did to you on Thursday night a couple weeks ago. More from the Q&A section for Mike Tomlin today, buzzing through these real quickly. Back to the running game, or I should say the non-existent running game, really, from Sunday night's game. Tomlin said that the team, again, needs to win more on third downs, and that's what cut into Jaylen Warren not getting as many touches as we would have liked. I believe only 46% of the snaps Warren played offensively, just 14 carries, has yet, I think, to even get above 18 carries in a game as the Steelers' RB1 this season. So Tomlin saying also Jalen will get more touches. Well, why not just leave him out there? I mean, does Jaylen Warren strike anybody here as a guy that, it's going to go out there and he's going to fail miserably in pass protecting, catching the ball, making guys miss? No, he's good at all of that. Leave him out there. I don't care what the situation is, how far back you are on third down. He is, going back to our conversation yesterday, and I know, Flacco, you're in the comment section somewhere. You and I went back and forth on this a little bit. Jaylen Warren, he's probably the most dynamic player on the offense right now because DK Metcalf is getting truly doubled every game. So I get it. Yes, third downs and all that is one thing. And Tomlin said he simply cannot play every down. Well, yeah, no duh, he can't play every down, but can he play way more than what he's been doing? Absolutely. So I hope they realize that and adjust accordingly before Sunday. The big thing from Tomlin I took away from his press conference. While I'm sure deep down his overall confidence in the efficiency of the offense has been shaken, he did say that Aaron Rodgers' performance on Sunday was what it was, said it is what it is, I think, and said that he doesn't have any sort of long-term worries about Rodgers' play for the team. Well, Mike, that makes one of us, because you're talking about one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, 4-time MVP, Super Bowl champion, first ballot Hall of Famer, 3 years past his retirement. And we, just going off of stats out there, that was arguably the worst game of his NFL career. I don't even remember what his exact stats from that game were. They were like, 16 for 31 or something like that. 2 interceptions to 1 garbage time touchdown, had maybe 150 yards, something like that. I'm not even sure if, you can say that performance from Rodgers on Sunday, you might be able to say that that's been the worst quarterback performance since Big Ben retired. And we got a lot of bad performances between today and then. You're talking about some ugly Kenny Pickett performances, Mitch Trubisky performances as well, Russell Wilson from last year a little bit also. So Tomlin, not worried about Rodgers. Do I have confidence that, out of all those names that had terrible quarterback performances for the Steelers, do I have faith that Rodgers would be the most likely to bounce back and just have that be an anomaly, once in a blue moon, off night for him? Sure. But, I think we may be starting to look at the beginning of the end here for Aaron Rodgers. His, pathway through the season so far, it's starting to look a little similar to Russell Wilson. Hopefully he can figure it out and get things steered back on the right track here. If not, then one of two things is going to happen. Either Rodgers is going to start checking out mentally and looking forward to many years ahead on his beachfront view there in Malibu, or still got to take age into consideration here. Behind that offensive line, taking more hard shots against the Chargers, is his body going to break? I hope neither of those two things are ever going to come true here. But Tomlin, you're braver than most, having faith that Rodgers' performance was, not a sign of things to come, because the way we see it, it looks like it's going to be another Russell Wilson 2.0 scenario, and we'll be looking at Mason Rudolph or Will Howard starting the final game of the season when, we eventually fall out of some sort of, contention for a playoffs or a wild card at this point. Because looking at the Steelers' schedule, getting a little off topic here, can't say for certainty that there is a single game on the schedule, except for maybe Cleveland a little bit, that you can say, yep, Steelers have a chance to win that one, or they're at least not going to lose that one. Just being honest, calling it how I see it here. Also, Tomlin, last couple things he addressed in his press conference today, talked about the release of Juan Thornhill from the practice squad, or from the active roster, Thornhill, he is out the door. Steelers brought back Sebastian Castro. Castro not only taking Thornhill's spot, but also his number. Learned that today. So Castro wearing number 22 on that roster transaction. Tomlin said that it was more of an opportunity to acquire Castro than, anything Thornhill did wrong. Did say that Thornhill's play wasn't up to snuff. No kidding. His crowning achievement as the Steelers safety was in Latrobe, saying that this defense could be the best of all time. And then, giving up, I think I heard the stat correctly yesterday or today, that he has given up 15 completions on 17 targets, which is just terrible. And of course, the, cherry on top, that screenshot of him just diving backwards through the air against the Packers. So Tomlin said his play wasn't up to snuff. And Castro, Tomlin said that they love his special teams ability. They were pleased with his performance in the preseason and in training camp. So bringing him back was the headliner of that decision there. Tomlin also talked about the depth of the corner room and said that he is still confident in it heading into this weekend's game. This was, of course, before the Asante Samuel Jr. Addition a couple of hours ago. Said that even though the Steelers right now with Slay in the concussion protocol, there are only 3 healthy outside corners in general right now are Eccles, Porter, and James Pierre, with Ramsey back at safety. But Tomlin said still feels good about them. Said about James Pierre that he's played really well. He's a guy that has been cool to watch his growth and development. Tomlin's words exactly there. So I like it. And also adding on top of it, Asante Samuel today. That was the cherry on top. And Tomlin, his one of the final things he said is that Marquez Valdes-Scantling, we know he hates talking about practice squad players because they are just that. Said it the exact word-for-word description of Marquez Valdes-Scantling last week. This time said he's just a practice squad player that's way down there on the totem pole. Well, had more encouraging words for MVS today, saying at least that they'll see what the week holds for him and all the others on the practice squad. So I expect a similar pathway for Asante Samuel Jr., ASJ, MVS. They're going to be on similar roads to becoming game day contributors for the Steelers here. Start him out on the practice squad, leave him there for a week, maybe 2, and MVS, that'll be a tell whether he's going to play or not this weekend. How long we'll maybe have to wait for Asante Samuel Jr. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. Lots of you in the comment section right now. The comment section, it is going crazy. I'm going to try to catch up to all of these. You guys lighting up right now. I love it. Keep them coming. Flacco in here as always. You guys still talking about the Mike Tomlin to the Giants thing here today. Wasn't honestly going to spend too much time on that today because I think we all in here can agree that it is a long shot that Mike Tomlin is going to be the New York Giants head coach, next head coach, I should say. Hell, I probably even have the same, amount of odds as he does of getting that job here. But hey, you guys, you steer the ship here. If you want to talk about Mike Tomlin, we'll talk about Mike Tomlin. I hope Mike McCarthy is the next Steeler head coach from THP. Ooh. Don't know about that, but I am intrigued. I don't know for sure, but I am intrigued. Talking about similar, coaching career as Tomlin, one-time Super Bowl champion. Eventually in his later days with the Cowboys couldn't get over the hump there in playoffs. So similar to Tomlin in that aspect, but he does bring the Pittsburgh ties to it. Knows about, grew up in the history of the Steelers here in Pittsburgh, born and bred. I'm sure that job would be very interesting for him, though. But what I maybe, rather than McCarthy, who I think would be a good candidate, would I maybe go with, give my shot to a young guy who has more modern looks on football and is an offensive mind for once, got to adapt here with the times. I think I'd go with that first over McCarthy, but he'd be a decent fallback option, I think, maybe. We'll see. Somebody bringing up Bill Belichick in here. Yeah, there's no way. He's going to go into broadcasting because, yikes, nobody's going to touch him with a 40-foot pole for what he's done down there in UNC, excuse me. Guys talking about a bunch of different things right here. Christophist. Guys, A-Rod has been overthrowing wide receivers and tight ends for the last few games. If we don't put up 20 points by halftime against Cincy, Mason Rudolph time. Honestly, you're probably leading the charge there for Steelers fans. At that point, you might as well because we've never seen that from Aaron Rodgers. One of the more accurate, probably the most accurate, maybe aside from Dan Marino and a couple others in NFL history. You're talking about one of the most precise sniper quarterbacks in NFL history, and he looked, absolutely horrendous. Everything was high. Even, we talked a little bit yesterday about that Jonnu Smith catch that I thought it was a catch. I'm sure you guys in the comments section thought it was a catch as well. We shouldn't have been in that scenario where we're reviewing a catch for Jonnu Smith because he was wide open and Rodgers had that pass way up there in the air. It should have been an easy completion all day long, and that's a thing 100 times out of 100 where he would have hit that, and now missing even the layups there from Rodgers. So I get Tomlin, saying just going off of a resume here and how hard the guy prepares for the games. You would want to take that game from Rodgers as a one-off there, but when you're seeing stuff that you've literally never seen from him in his career before, that gives you much warranted, worries, I'd say there. So I'm on board with you there, Chris Fist. If this, season really, goes down the toilet here in a hurry, you say Mason Rudolph time. Maybe if Rudolph catches lightning in a bottle twice and turns into a, precise, explosive play quarterback like what he was a couple of years ago when he led the Steelers to the playoffs, then yeah, I'd say maybe. But if this, season, if you're all of a sudden way overtaken in the standings by the Ravens and you're among the Cincinnati Bengals of the world, then see what you got in Will Howard, because you're going to need to know what you're doing here in this draft. Already we can come up with at least 5 position needs in the draft that the Steelers need to address. And the quarterback class this year, it's not as good as we thought it was on paper, but still there are some decent guys out there. At least see what you have in the national champion before you, go into the off season and do this whole song and dance over again. Look here. Arthur Smith will be the head coach for the Giants. Honestly, that might actually be a realistic possibility, because they're going to, see how he's been as a Steelers coordinator. We think it's pretty mediocre, but I'm sure they're going to like it. Smith, he's also, I think what they'll be most attracted to is he got the best out of Ryan Tannehill when he was with the Titans. You can pretty much scratch off what he did with the Falcons, because he was given a whole bunch of nothing there. Your Desmond Ritters and Marcus Mariotas of the world. But then got some good football out of Justin Fields, got some also good football out off of Russell Wilson before his tires spun all the way off. And then Aaron Rodgers, who everyone thought was cooked and washed. Maybe he is at this point in the season, who knows? But got, some vintage Aaron Rodgers for the first half of the season. I'm sure that the Giants will look at that and say, if he can do that with all those quarterbacks from old man Rodgers all the way down to Ryan Tannehill, then imagine what he can do here when you actually give him a young, dynamic quarterback in Jackson Dart. So that could be a realistic possibility, Flacco. I'm not going to slide that one off at all. And that's sort of, back-to-back comments here I'm seeing in the chat. This is the duality of the Arthur Smith experience. On one hand, he's a head coaching candidate, and then you got Mr. Steeler fan as well. Arthur Smith is a moron. Both, for some reason, are, true right now. But yeah, just what a crazy world we live in, that you can have both of these things be true, be a head coaching candidate and him not being the brightest play caller right now. Back to the Asante Samuel Jr. conversation. Jonathan Harvey in here. Welcome back. Jonathan was hoping Asante would sign with the consistent Pennsylvania football team, the Eagles. Great signing for the Steelers. Division in jeopardy. Ravens are near. Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if he would have gone out to the Ravens, but the Ravens, they added Jair Alexander at the deadline, and forgetting they had one more defensive back that might be slipping my mind right now. Maybe I'm thinking of the Jalen Phillips trade, but yeah, great signing for the Steelers. Honestly, had really no hope that this move was going to get made. You had all those teams that he was meeting with in front of the Steelers. Your only glimmer of hope was that I believe it was the Steelers doctors that did his spinal fusion surgery. And, that was, a good hope there that the Steelers, they already knew what his back was like, I'm sure, before they even had the meeting. And Samuel, I'm sure might have also had some trust that if he goes to the Steelers, he knows he's going to be well taken care of and not, get stuck with some new, maybe even ragtag group of doctors there. So, yep, good signing there for the Steelers. Going to start out in the practice squad. We'll see if he gets elevated before Steelers take on the Ravens here in a couple of weeks. Excuse me, while I take a swig of water here, and then we will continue on here with the comment section. Also, what a pretty bland sports night ahead right now, at least for, Pittsburgh purposes. No football on tonight. Pittsburgh Penguins, who we are going to get to here in a minute or so, they're over in Sweden. They don't play till Friday, and then of course, nothing going on with the Pittsburgh Pirates, though we will bring them up first thing in the extra Pittsburgh sports news segment. They could be making some moves here soon, but I'm not going to hold my breath. We'll talk about it, though. Flacco, of course, F the Ravens. LOL. Talking about Tomlin here. Their prized pony, says Tomlin, THP there. I see Ravens no longer have Jair Alexander traded at the trade deadline. That's what I meant, Yinzer Joe, talking about the Eagles getting Jair Alexander. But yeah, remember, I'm going to bring this up every single time we talk about or mention Jair Alexander here on the channel. Remember back, 3-4 months ago, something like that, and we were still talking about who would you rather have, Jalen Ramsey or Jair Alexander, and we were at some points divided on that stance, and turns out we made the right decision going and getting Jalen Ramsey. Lots of you guys are still talking about Tomlin here. Again, I'll keep saying he's not going to go anywhere. He will go elsewhere on his own decision, and maybe even the Giants they can throw maybe as much money as they possibly want at him. He might not even want the money. He might just say, I'm going to take the stability in the place that I know I'm not going to get fired, then take an extra, bit of cash in the short term, but, risk job opportunities in the future. Yes, Mr. Steelers always went with longevity at head coach. This is their third since the merger, indeed. And that's why, we're talking about Mike McCarthy up there in the comments section a little bit ago. I at least, want to kick the tires on some hot shot offensive coordinator. Let's see if we can go get the next Ben Johnson or even the next, what is it? Am I forgetting his name? McDaniel. Mike McDaniel, I think it is, the former Ravens DC, who's now up killing it with the Seahawks. I'd take, try to go get one of those guys first and foremost before I get a retread of McCarthy, because those types of guys, they're going to have a much better shot at being the next long-term head coach of the Steelers, more than, McCarthy could be. He might be here for, maybe 5 years at most, something like that. I don't know. Just Steeler fan. None of us own the Steelers. If we did, there would be changes galore happening right now. Tomlin not worth the longevity as well. We all see it now. Yeah, agreed there, Jonathan. Concepts reaction. We back. No flies though. The signing is like adding more sugar to the Kool-Aid, and I'm drinking it Super Bowl bound. Concepts, it took us 24 hours to flip the switch. We were all back in here. This was our normal after a Steelers loss Monday therapy session, and we were all even, for a solid 20 minutes there, reminiscing about the good old days, Three River Stadium, Mellon Arena, Mario Lemieux, the 70s Steelers dynasties and all that. Now the signing of Asante Samuel Jr. to the practice squad. Now our backup vibes are immaculate there, Concepts. I see. I love it. I mean, honestly, I'm pumped about the Samuel signing. Does it really change anything for this season? No, but could he maybe, still 26 years old, could he maybe, show us that he's pretty solid and want to stay here for a couple years beyond this? Then all of a sudden, bring back Jalen Ramsey at safety. You can have Kyle Duggar and Deshaun Elliott back there as well next year. Got Asante Samuel on one side. Joey Porter Jr., I don't know if he's going to be a guy. You'll at least have him on the other. Maybe pick up a decent corner in free agency or the draft. I'd be down with that. So, yeah, if Samuel can hit Asante Samuel, this secondary all of a sudden would look a whole hell of a lot better, in my opinion. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, going to real quick, one more comment from Cons. Yes, their optimism on a 10, delusion at 20, stairway to 7. Here we go. Stairway to 7, more like a stairway to the 7th seed. That'd be more likely. Jonathan Harvey, Steelers are not Super Bowl bound, so that idea is idiotic. Lucky to finish 8-9. Yeah, we're just joking there, Jonathan Harvey. I mean, Concepts. I'm gonna read some sarcasm into that, but I think he's just being sarcastic there. I don't really know with Concepts anymore. He's a mystery. But yeah, 8-9. We're probably looking at that. Honestly, forgot to mention this yesterday. We might. As a matter of fact, no, we are not just might. We are right now sitting as Steelers fans as close as we've ever been to seeing Mike Tomlin have his first losing season. And that is just a fact right now. Haven't won a Sunday night game. Don't feel very good about Miami coming up. I talked about that last night, Inter Joe. I'll say right now, I'm going to chalk up the Miami Monday night game as an L. I don't care. Think that game's being played in Pittsburgh, right? Because I don't want to sound like an idiot here. I don't care that if it is in Pittsburgh. I don't care that the Dolphins suck when they play in northern weather in December. This team, they have been, horrifyingly terrible in night games this season, and no sort of trend or pattern that would favor the Steelers is going to knock me off of that idea here a little bit. Stop making excuses for not winning a playoff game when coaches that won Super Bowls got fired. Agreed there. I mean, that's another thing too with Tomlin. We got a whole list of coaches. I mean, Andy Reid, what is it? Since Tomlin got hired, Andy Reid, he won a Super Bowl, got fired, and then won 3 more? Yeah, that should tell you all you need to know about how long in the tooth Tomlin's tenure has been here. Did anybody get comforted by Tomlin's press conference? He's the king of explaining how we got our butt kicked. Yeah, very good at that. And also, people saying, even though Tomlin just doesn't seem like the guy to do this, people keep saying Tomlin is such a good public speaker that he should be a politician because, we come on here and we break down what he says every Tuesday here on the channel, but also he's one of those guys. He'll stand up there. He'll talk at you for 25 minutes. He'll say a bunch and not really say anything. And then everything he said from the first 25 minutes, when you ask him a question, he's going to pick something from those first 25 minutes and just regurgitate that. So any comfort from Tomlin's press conference? No, it's really never good to get any sort of comfort from Tomlin's press conference. The most comfort from a Mike Tomlin press conference that we have had in our lifetimes was when he fired Matt Canada. 2-3 years ago now. That's the only comfort that we've had from a Tomlin press conference, because that actually brought us joy for once. Ooh. Okay, let's keep things nice and clean there in the comment section. Disagree, but let's not get into name calling here, guys. I'm going to switch up gears real quick, and then I promise I'll get back to the comment section here in a little bit. Going to switch up here real quick to the extra Pittsburgh sports news. Let's get that out of the way here tonight. Going to start off with the Pittsburgh Penguins here real quick, and then we'll transition into the Pirates, and then back into the Steelers to wrap up the show here. Extra Pittsburgh sports news tonight. We're going to kick off with the Pittsburgh Penguins. They have made it across the pond. They arriving in Sweden this morning. They took off from Pittsburgh at around 9 o'clock last night, and they are over there in Sweden, a part of the NHL Global Series. They will take on the Nashville Predators Friday and Sunday, which 7 of you in here right now. I'll pop this back up on screen once again. Hope you guys join me back here on Friday and Saturday. If you look at your screen right now, I popped this up yesterday. Have had yet to pop it up today. That is the schedule ahead here for the week. We will be live Friday a little bit before 2 o'clock to live stream reaction and commentary to Game 1 of Penguins Predators, and then a doubleheader Sunday starting from 8:50 a.m. probably going well into the evening on Sunday. We'll start with the Pens and Predators, and then get into Steelers Bengals right after that. So I hope you guys join me back here for that Friday and Saturday. Anyways, back to the Pens and them making it across the Atlantic over to Sweden today. The Pens had a practice, their first practice over there. Pretty cool gesture by the Penguins. Of course, I'm sure it absolutely, pierces the heart of this player that he will not get to play. But though he has no chance of playing, Rickard Rakell, he did make the flight over with the team, going back to his homeland. Same thing with Erik Karlsson. I'm sure EK65 is fired up to play in this game. Also, another Swede, the Pens are taking over to Sweden. Philip Larson, Penguins AHL goaltender. He is going to be the third goaltender here this weekend in this Sweden series. I'm sure a bit of a homecoming for him as well. On the ice today for Penguins practice, no changes to the top line, top 2 lines, as a matter of fact. Sidney Crosby still centering Brian Rust and Ben Kindle. Tommy Novak on the wing, Anthony Mantha on the other, with Evgeny Malkin centering the second line. The third and fourth lines, however, we have no idea what to expect coming up here on Friday. It was a shuffling of the lines throughout the rushes today. Heinen, Lizotte, Dewar, Hayes, Koivunen, Koppinen, Tomasino, all of those guys shuffling between the third and fourth lines. So we have no idea what those lines are going to look like here on Friday. Defense pairings, though, no changes there. Ryan Graves, Connor Clifton still the bottom pair, and Harrison Brunick still here as well for the Pens. So now we're pushing 4 games, maybe 5 by the time this Stockholm Sweden series ends. You'll be pushing damn near 2 weeks now that Harrison Brunick has still stayed here with the team, and still the team has not made a decision whether he's going to head back to the juniors or stick with the team for the rest of the year. So I think that's interesting. Also, you'll be much pleased to hear the Penguins today, as a part of their practice, they were practicing shootouts, per Josh Yohe, who covers the Pens for The Athletic. Sounds like a hell of an idea. They've only been, 0 for 3 now in shootouts on the season, and, just going back, the past 5 years now, one of the worst shootout teams in the entire league. So the Penguins practicing those I'm sure that gives head coach Dan Muse a bit of a more of an idea of who would be best in those situations, gives some guys some practice there who have been struggling lately. And the guy that I'm hoping got, practice the most in the shootouts was Artur Shalovs, because 7 of 9 or 7 of 8 shooters faced have scored on him. So yeah, shootout practice definitely needed for the Pens. Switching gears here to baseball, the Pittsburgh Pirates, they actually have a bit of news around them today. And I guess you can call it good news, but we are going to believe that this is good news when we see it. This is from Ken Rosenthal, one of the best insiders and senior writers in the MLB, does work for The Athletic, MLB on Fox, Foul Territory TV, all of that. So Ken Rosenthal, a pretty established and good, reputable insider in the MLB. He was asked on his Foul Territory TV show what sort of team could be aggressive in making moves this offseason that we wouldn't necessarily suspect. And he brought up 2 teams, one the Miami Marlins, the other the Pittsburgh Pirates, saying that both of those teams could be aggressive, spending a little bit this offseason. On the Pirates directly, he said that Ben Cherington at the MLB winter meetings, he has been making it known to the other GMs and owners around the league that the Pirates, they want to spend a little bit more money and make some moves. So, that is the Pirates telling the agents that they plan to be aggressive and spend this offseason. Now, we all hear that, and we hear them say that. They are very great at saying all that you want to hear. As a matter of fact, in terms of a pure baseball perspective, what the Pirates do, they should, have you, or they should, have us pay them for us to tell them all that for us to hear all that we want to hear from them, because they are great at it. But do they come through on it? Absolutely not. So I'll believe it when I see it. Ken Rosenthal, if he's hearing it, I will give him the benefit of the doubt and trust him that the Pirates are going to be at least a tiny bit more aggressive here this offseason. Also, Rosenthal did not specify what that could be. He said it could be in free agency. It could be through trades. Mentioned that the Marlins and the Pirates both have great farm systems that they could move on from a couple of decent prospects to get some help now. But again, believe it when I see it. I'll trust Rosenthal for now, but that aggressive, we want to spend money attitude that the Pirates are giving to the agents, that at the end of the day, I think we can all come to the conclusion it'll probably be, instead of paying $5 million for an outfielder, let's bump it up here to 6 in a quarter or something like that. It won't be a massive jump here. I don't think any of us are going to get fooled by that. Just a couple of other Pirates news stories here before we wrap up this evening. The Pirates, they have officially outrighted to AAA Indianapolis Michael Darrell Hicks, reliever that they claimed off of waivers during the season from the LA Angels. He was put on waivers a couple of days ago, and he cleared. Also, mentioned earlier when we were talking about Asante Samuel Jr., thought that we were going to come back here on Thursday after tomorrow's off day and, talk about Asante Samuel Jr., seeing if he's going to sign with the Steelers. One thing we will for sure come back on here and talk about on Thursday, it'll either be celebratory or it'll be, this is the most outrageous thing that I have ever seen or heard. Paul Skeens, as of tomorrow night, we will know whether he will win the 2025 National League Cy Young Award. I think we all can agree he is a shoo-in for the award, though people keep bringing up Christopher Sanchez for the Philadelphia Phillies. But we'll come back here Thursday, and hopefully we will be popping the metaphorical champagne here and looking to celebrate Paul Skeens winning his first Cy Young Award, hopefully the first of many. And as a Pirate, too. I want to add that in. I'm sure he's going to win multiple Cy Youngs regardless, but hopefully he does most of it with the Pirates. Back into the Pittsburgh Steelers here one more time before we get back into the comment section to wrap it up. Talked about Sebastian Castro back with the team, he wearing number 22. Lots of talk today in the comment section and a little bit from me as well about ESPN's Get Up crew. I believe it was Dan Graziano or Mike Greenberg. I want to say it was Greenberg who brought up, Tomlin as an option for the Giants. Enough of that. We know it's not going to happen. Speaking of the Giants, however, one Pittsburgh Steeler is going there. Ben Sauls, Pitt kicker, absolutely as much as you can get to a serial kicker, Chris Boswell kicker in college. That's what Ben Sauls was. I was shocked that the Steelers, that he was available for the Steelers to have him in the preseason. Well, now he actually will be getting a chance here, hopefully soon. The Giants signing him to their practice squad today. Other kicker news as well. Justin Tucker, though I'm sure there's tons of new terrible nicknames about him out there right now. Tucker, who was alleged to do a whole bunch of Deshaun Watson type stuff over the offseason, got a 10-game suspension from the NFL. That 10-game suspension now up. He is free to sign with any NFL team moving forward. Man, the Cleveland Browns, they can do the funniest thing there, in my opinion. And the last couple of things here on the Steelers for today. We talked about they signing Asante Samuel to the practice squad. They also have another corner in their building today. Remember C.J. Henderson, anyone? I believe he was with the Steelers practice squad last year, ended up having a neck injury, and then, never got on the field for the black and gold. Maybe he was on the field for a game. I don't know. He working out today for the Steelers, so he could be back on the team as well. This was reported by Alan Saunders, and that came about an hour after Asante Samuel signed. I don't know if it's still going to be a possibility that Henderson joins the team now that Samuel is here, but maybe that was their backup option, and we just now found out about it after the fact. Talk about wide receivers on here a bunch. Saw this today, and I just had to bring it up. Dave Myers does stuff for the Built in Buffalo podcast, and brought up a list of the top wide receivers scheduled to be free agents this offseason. And we've been talking about, should the Steelers have been more aggressive for a wide receiver at the trade deadline? Looking at this list, I think they should have, because there's no guarantee that you get the wide receiver you want in the draft. And also, this free agency class, it is very, very weak. And I believe it was someone here in the comment section who brought up before, Jacoby Myers is going to be asking for big money. I actually take that now with more seriousness, because looking at the names around them, Jacoby Myers, he could be one of the bigger fish in this small pond of free agent wide receivers. Top free agent wide receivers this upcoming offseason: Mike Evans, who right now is on injured reserve, might be out for the season. Jacoby Myers. You also got Rashid Shaheed here, who the Steelers were after at the trade deadline. Couldn't get a deal done with him either. George Pickens, Christian Kirk, Deebo Samuel, Alan Lazard, Tutu Atwell, De'Ami Brown, Hollywood Brown, Noah Brown, Jahan Dotson, and Alec Pierce. Now, looking at the names there, I think we can cross off a couple of names on this list here immediately. George Pickens, he's not going to come back here. Steelers thought he was a head case, enough to trade him for a third-round pick before the season. Mike Evans, he's either going to retire or stick with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think he is a legacy player down there. Alan Lazard, could you maybe bring him in if Aaron Rodgers comes back? I don't know, but not going to get my hopes up there. And Alec Pierce, I think he's going to be a guy that the Indianapolis Colts want to bring back. So that leaves you really Jacoby Myers and Rashid Shaheed, which I think they're going to get a bag, especially if they ball where they currently are. That leaves you what? Hollywood Brown, Deebo Samuel, Christian Kirk, Tutu Atwell, top guys there. Not really solid wide receiver 2 options as they were in the past there. So, yeah, free agency for next year for wide receivers not looking good. Hope the Steelers, one way or another, figure out this wide receiver situation. We better hope and pray for a Carnell Tate or someone else like that. I'm not too familiarized with the top wide receivers in this draft class. I do know of a couple. If they're first round guys or high day two guys or not, I don't know. Like Nick Harbor, a couple of wide receivers for USC, Casey Concepcion down there in Texas A&M. So, yeah, as much as we are Debbie Downer about the Steelers wide receiver group already, not all that optimistic that it's going to get better this offseason as well. And the final Pittsburgh Steelers news story today, we do bring up happy birthdays on here. Happy birthday today to the one and only, I'm not sure, I think still record holder for longest run in the Super Bowl, Fast Willie Parker. So happy birthday, number 39. All right, ladies and gentlemen, winding things down here on the channel for tonight. Just real quick, going to go back to the old Twitter page here, see if there's anything left before we log off here for the night. Just seeing a bunch more things on Asante Samuel joining the team. Not seeing anything else. I do see that people are now catching on that it was Dr. David Okonkwo, the neurosurgeon for the Steelers, that did his surgery. People catching on to that as well. Speaking of suspensions, we talked about Justin Tucker's a moment ago. Didn't know this guy was even suspended. Former Steelers defensive tackle Isaiah Buggs, his NFL suspension has been lifted. He last played in the UFL this spring. What the hell did Isaiah Buggs get suspended for? I don't remember that. Huh. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, not seeing too much here, so I think that is all but going to wrap things up here tonight. Last couple comments here before we log off for the night. Jonathan Harvey, a forecast of Steelers Bengals 35-20. So you are expecting another fire and brimstone performance for the Bengals offense against this Steelers defense. Joe Flacco is going to be a Steeler killer once again. Jamar Chase is going to, absolutely rout them and, be 5 yards beyond any Steeler when he catches the ball. Not going to, say you're wrong there. All I'm hoping is that it's at least a way better prediction than that. That has, a solid chance of becoming reality here. But, yeah, I don't blame you for having that, Jonathan. I just hope that they have learned really, really fast what their issues were from a couple Thursday nights ago. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think that is going to wrap things up here tonight on stream for over an hour and 15 minutes tonight. So we'll come in just a hair underneath the 2 hours and 20 minutes or so we were live yesterday. I want to thank you all for joining me here tonight. But before I go into my final spiel here for tonight, telling you to subscribe, all that, do want to say out there to any veteran that comes across this, got a couple of family members who are veterans. Happy Veterans Day to all of you. We thank you, appreciate all that you've done for this great country, and we love you. Couldn't be any more proud and grateful for all you've done because of your courage and sacrifice for this great country, your bravery. We get to sit here in the free United States of America and get to do things like this podcast and be able to unwind and talk about sports that way. So thank you. Happy Veterans Day to all veterans out there. And that is going to wrap things up here tonight. I want to thank you all for joining me tonight. Once again, a look here at the schedule for the rest of the week. I'm going to pop up here in a moment. Off tomorrow, and then we will be back here on Thursday. Come Thursday, I'm sure we'll have plenty more to talk about. We'll hear from the Steelers coordinators. I think just as much as Mike Tomlin, we're going to want to hear what Arthur Smith has to say after that horrendous game plan and game play calling from Sunday. We'll also hear from a couple Steelers players. I think even Aaron Rodgers. Between now and then, we'll know if Paul Skeens is a Cy Young Award winner and anything else that comes across our feed here. We will discuss here on Thursday, and then we'll get into the jam-packed weekend after that. So thank you all for joining me. Have a good rest of your Tuesday night. Back here on Thursday. One last time, subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications so that you never miss a thing. Like, share, leave a comment on this live stream after the fact. Go give the channel a follow at Steel City SR on Facebook, Instagram, and X. And tune back in later tonight for a new edition of SCSR 60. Thank you all. Back here on Thursday. Enjoy Tuesday. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday and tomorrow, Wednesday. See you later. Peace.